Sometimes I have to remember, you guys are not all like me, where I spend so much of my time, literally like every day of the week, looking at RVs. So I very well understand how Brinkley RV is the newest RV brand in the market. It also has completely shifted the whole nature of the RV industry with all of its innovations. And some people still don't know that. So this is going to be a video to wake you up to what Brinkley is if you're not aware. And also, I want to go through and talk about all of the different ways that Brinkley kind of sets itself apart from different RV brands, and also mention all of the ways that there are alternative options out there to Brinkley that may offer either even more features than what Brinkley does, or just be a more competitive price range for a very close result. So all these things we're going to talk about in this video. There's going to be a lot to learn, so buckle up. Let's go take a look. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Myles with Firmly Unbound, and we are here taking a look at this new 2025 Brinkley Model Z 3100. I'm very excited to take a look at this one. This thing just rolled in here within the last week or two. So brand new Model Z Brinkley fifth wheel. It's a 3100. You'll be able to see the floor plan layout and specs on the screen, but right around 35 feet and 12,000 pounds. So a very comfortable fifth wheel RV for a 3/4 ton truck, especially a 3/4 ton diesel. And then we are here at Blue Compass RV in Longmont, Colorado, actually. So this is off of I-25 going, it's kind of between Denver and Fort Collins. Wish we could see it here, but you got a beautiful view of the Rocky Mountains right behind these fifth wheel RVs there. And fun fact, I actually grew up and lived here in this area, like 20 minutes from here, for the first 24 years of my life. So very familiar with this area, and really excited to let you know that Blue Compass RV is your Brinkley dealer for the Colorado market. So there's 3 different Blue Compass stores here in Colorado, and they are your Brinkley dealers if you're looking for Brinkley. So there's a link down below in the comments and description of this video to get you started with finding your next RV and finding a store close to you if that's something you're interested in. Now, with this fifth wheel RV, we're going to go ahead and hop inside first. But with Brinkley, and we should definitely point this out real quick, this here is liquefied. Liquefied you can find on Amazon. This is with our friends Matt RV Reviews. You can find that. That's a black tank treatment for your RV. Find that on Amazon. As we walk inside, this, first of all, is just not a super exciting floor plan. So that's why we're not really going to talk too much about the floor plan layout and things like that in this video. We are going to go through this floor plan and take a look at it, but that is certainly not the main point of this video, to just go through the floor plan that this Brinkley Model Z 3100 has to offer. If you've seen any RVs before, this probably looks fairly similar to you. It is just an opposing slide out fifth wheel, so slide out here, island kitchen in the middle, rear living and kitchen kind of combined, and it's a 35-foot total frame on this fifth wheel RV that makes it both easily towable by like a 3/4 ton truck, and also a little bit easier to find camping locations for, since it's not a big 40-foot plus beast. Now that gets me to the price on this fifth wheel RV, because the price on this, the MSRP, is the only thing Brinkley lets dealerships put out online, so that's all I have right now. The MSRP is about $110,000. So that is definitely up there as far as MSRP prices go. That makes me think this is likely going to sell in like the $90,000 neighborhood. In that ballpark, there are a lot of other options out there that are going to either be in this same size range around $90,000, or there's going to be some stuff that can even be much bigger than this around $90,000. And there's a lot that you can potentially get from other brands, and there's a lot that you can also lose from other brands that are all around the same price range. And then there are also RVs that are much more expensive than what this Brinkley is, that offer quite a bit more. So first of all, though, I want to go through some things that Brinkley really does fantastic. One thing, I will always remember this because I lost a deal over this years ago selling RVs. I had a customer come in and they were looking at a Montana High Country. So that is Montana's lower level fifth wheel RV. So you have Keystone, Montana, and then, Keystone, Montana, and then the Montana High Country is like the little brother. And the Montana High Country was in like the $80,000 price range when I was selling it. And I'm not sure exactly where they're at now. They might have dropped just a little bit. But still, nonetheless, it's like a $70,000, $80,000 fifth wheel RV. And this customer came in, and right away they noticed there were like staple holes in these fascias here, and there were staple holes in areas like this down here, and they just had putty over them. And you could see the same thing too, like if you opened up cabinet doors where there would be like trim pieces in here that had staple holes in them with putty over them. And it was just kind of everywhere, all over the fifth wheel. And I lost that deal because this person had never stepped into a fifth wheel RV before and did not know that that was kind of the norm. Well, Brinkley completely changed that. As you can see here, this is all just really, really flush and smooth. There's no imperfections here. You could critique that there's like the slightest bit of imperfections here with how this is lined up, but as far as RV standards go, I mean, this is pretty much flawless. There are no staple holes, no putty holes anywhere, and you kind of see that consistently throughout the entire interior of this fifth wheel RV. There's also no crown molding up in the seam right here that you might see on other RV brands, because they actually cut the sidewalls to a perfect, height there. So all they need is a little thin silicone beam right there to seal that up. So that is another area where just all throughout this fifth wheel RV, you're gonna find it's pretty close to flawless, as you could expect. You open up things like the drawers, and you actually have a finished wood, not just a bare looking plywood. You have a finished wood with dovetail joints in here. I mean, this is what you would expect to see in a home. So these things are things that Brinkley really changed and revolutionized, because that just was not the standard in the RV industry. In fact, we even looked at some DRV mobile suites over the last couple of weeks here on this channel that sell in like the $180,000 price range. And the DRV mobile suites we looked at, while they have a ton of features that Brinkley does not have, some people are still going to overlook them because they have things like where you can see little staple holes in putty in certain areas. And you can definitely see it like sometimes when you look inside the cabinets with some of the ways that they construct the interior of their cabinets, you can see it. And then they had the generic unfinished plywood drawers with staples holding them closed. That's a $180,000 fifth wheel RV. That is stuff that a lot of people can tangibly see, which is where they place a lot of the value in, which makes Brinkley look far more compelling than something that is, almost $100,000 more. A lot of other brands have also over the last couple of years had to step up and kind of try to match what Brinkley has done here with these different aesthetic points that we're kind of pointing out here, and have copied a lot of those things to stay up to par with Brinkley. Now, here's where I can mention some things that other brands out there do. Like, we've looked at the DRV mobile suites, and I've seen quite a few comments in those videos of people comparing. Let me move around just so we can get some movement here and look at some different areas. But people have compared different things in the comments between Brinkley and DRV, just saying like would probably go with the Brinkley. Well, with the DRV mobile suites video we looked at, here's all things that DRV mobile suites came with that Brinkley does not have. So if you want more of these, higher end features, maybe for an RV to live in, and you're willing to invest more for some of these higher end comfort and construction features, DRV mobile suites had things like a 3¼ inch thick sidewall. This just has a 2-inch thick sidewall here. So way thicker sidewall. DRV mobile suites come standard with like dual pane windows, where this is just single pane windows. You have to custom order Brinkley to get dual pane windows. No full body paint on the outside. DRV mobile suites has a full body paint scheme standard on the outside. And then this, at the end of the day, it is a wide profile construction fifth wheel, so 100 or 101 inches wide here. However, it does have like this smaller mid-size fifth wheel feel to it, as it is technically considered a mid-size fifth wheel, meaning your ceiling slants down real aggressively in here, whereas something like a more full profile fifth wheel, DRV mobile suites, Keystone Montana, Grand Design Solitude, stuff like that, they'll have many floor plans where it's just a flat ceiling all the way to the back, so more ceiling height in here. Same thing with the nose. The nose kind of starts to tip down towards the front, whereas a full profile fifth wheel will be flat all the way to the front in most regards. So those are some differences as well. With the DRV mobile suites, they also had like an independent suspension system standard on it that Brinkley doesn't have. It had 8K rated axles, which Brinkley does actually have standard on their bigger, more heavy fifth wheels. Not this one that we're standing in. This one is 7K rated. And then they had disc brake standard. They also had a, what is it? What are those things called with the water? Oh my gosh. It's the water lines where it sends all a water manifold system. Gosh, the DRV mobile suites had a water manifold system. Brands like Forest River Riverstone will also have a water manifold system, which you don't see on Brinkley. So just pointing all these things out to just kind of compare and contrast the different stuff that's out there. But then I think of other brands that like this Brinkley probably most closely competes with. Um, I think like the Keystone Montana, for instance. The Keystone Montana is a 96-inch wide fifth wheel RV, so you can feel it's a little bit more narrow, but it is a more like kind of true to a full profile fifth wheel RV. Bigger storage compartments outside with it being a full profile fifth wheel RV than you get in this Brinkley Model Z. So that's something where this Brinkley is just such a compelling and interesting thing to talk about because it's a mid-size fifth wheel RV that competes with full-size fifth wheel RVs. Like it wouldn't be fair to compare a Brinkley like this to another mid-size fifth wheel RV because other mid-size fifth wheel RVs aren't trying to crank out top-tier quality in their builds like Brinkley is. So you got to compare it with a full-size fifth wheel RV, even though size comparisons may not be the same. Brinkley's done some other cool innovations. So like this table we talked about, this is pretty dang sweet, giving you this versatility to use this as both a desk space or an eating space. This table does pull out, slides back and forth. With your furniture here, Brinkley has a more custom look to their furniture, even though it's not like custom made furniture, it definitely has that kind of look and feel to it. Wireless charging pad, you have heat here on the recliners, and you do have a USB port. They are manual pull recliners, but they don't use the little straps. They use a lever, which I think that will withstand the test of time better than the straps that can break. USB ports here in the center console. Wish it had the flip up armrest so you could kind of get the cuddle mode here with the seating if you wanted it. On your windows, and actually, ooh, up here too, additional storage. Nice they worked this in, even with this being a mid-size fifth wheel RV. I think this is definitely Brinkley just knowing a lot of their customers are looking at this as a more full-time RV, which also makes sense because it's really good quality and a little bit more condensed size. If you go up to something like a DRV Mobile Suites, for instance, I mean, shoot, they're units that are 40+ feet long. I mean, they're heavy. Those things weigh like 20,000 pounds. So it also makes sense to have a good high quality, more mid-sized fifth wheel RV that's packing in things like this extra storage for full-time RVers. Sit down here, your island does stick out into this living area just a little bit, but it doesn't really block your view of the TV. You have a 50-inch screen TV that does drop down, so you get a window there. Pretty cool ottoman that they use right here. So they give you this, you can kind of place this wherever you want. It gives you extra storage, gives you a place to sit at the dining table if you want it. So if you do extend this dining table out and want to seat four, this can be used as some of your seating for that. And you can also use it as a footrest in this area. You have a single cushion rear sofa. Love that. So no seams in the sofa, makes it a little bit more comfortable, but it does still pull out and make into about the width of a king size bed, but it's more narrow, so it'll take up all this floor space here. Talking about floor space and just things in the floor in general, no heat vents in the flooring, so they are running their heat underneath the island and things like that. So you don't have any heat vents in the floor. It is a slightly less efficient heating system than just having straight line ducting with heat vents in the floor, but I know a lot of people are very anti-heat vents in the floor in RVs, so I understand that completely. No carpet in the slide outs, so it just looks really clean and seamless. You also don't have any spots where you would like stub your toe on any slide out equipment or any pieces of flooring like sticking out, because they use specific types of slide outs that allow them to match that flooring material there and just give you a very seamless look. You have your fireplace here. That's going to also be an electric heat source for you, so pretty standard there. Love the tables on the sides. You get good storage on the sides of the tables. This flips up, gives you more storage underneath here. And then you also have outlets and USB ports with the USB Type-C connection back there. Big windows along the back wall. Storage here. Because this is a mid-profile fifth wheel, this actually could be a plus. This storage is actually reachable, so I don't have to stretch way up high to reach this storage like you would in some bigger full-profile fifth wheel RVs. So that's nice. Wood framed out windows, that's also a very nice look. Gives it a little bit more of a residential look versus like doing valances that go down the window and stick out a bit. And then as we turn this way, you have your solid surface countertops here. This is basically going to be like a ceramic style material, but I love how it has a little bit more of a satin finish. Hard to tell on camera. You have outlets here. Open this up, spot for 2 trash cans. Again, the finishes in here are just great. You have a paper towel holder. A few different brands have copied that since Brinkley was the first one to kind of do this design for a paper towel holder. Quite a few things that brands have copied from Brinkley over the last 2 years. You have your drawers here, just look great with that dovetail joint construction. And then everything is pretty standard through here. A little bit bigger drawer down through the bottom. Love how it has a symmetrical looking kitchen. So countertop space on both sides of the stove. You have outlets up underneath your cabinets here. So outlet here and outlet there. Light switches here, plus your TV switch for the lift. And then you can see a little shelf up above here as well with your plugs for like HDMI ports and things like that to the TV right there. A little bit of storage space up here. Storage space next to your microwave. It is a standard microwave, so no convection oven or air fryer built in. Then storage space there. Soft close on all your cabinet doors. Definitely appreciate that. These drawers here, you can see there's kind of this like shelved out space in there. And then your drawers are also soft close. So seeing a lot of higher end fifth wheel RV features in this Brinkley Model Z. Underneath here, this is where we can see you also have individual shutoff valves for all of your water lines. So you do not have to shut off all of your water if you have a leak. You can just shut off water to a specific spot in the fifth wheel RV if you have some sort of water leak. Love that. Gold faucet there. You have lights up here. Looks great. LED lighting up above this spot in the island. Max Air vent fan in the kitchen. Love that. All like better, more high-end equipment. Big speakers in the ceiling, one here and one here. And then you can install a Wi-Fi router here if you want to install the WineGuard Wi-Fi router. You have a 16 cubic foot refrigerator and freezer, both accessible with the slide closed. So you can get to both of these spaces when you have your slide outs closed. Another big difference with Brinkley as well is they are independently owned. So they're not under this big umbrella of Thor or Forest River or something like that. They are independently owned, and you're definitely going to get a little bit different of an ownership experience with a brand like this. I mean, I even think of like if you purchase a Brinkley RV and join like Brinkley RV Facebook groups, the whole company is on those groups. So if you have issues or have problems, just your ability to contact the manufacturer or work with the manufacturer, it's kind of different. And you just get a different ownership experience with the Brinkley. Alliance is the same way, Alliance being independently owned. You just get a little bit more of what feels like a hands-on kind of approach to the customer service side of your ownership experience with your relationship with the manufacturer. Have these shelves in here, adjustable with an LED lighting in here and an outlet in here so you can actually plug things in the pantry. Again, Brinkley being kind of like forward thinking, giving you an outlet in this space so you can actually have items that plug in this pantry space. Very nice. You have your little coffee bar area here. It has a real tile backsplash. And then you have outlets, USB ports there, and those are the more expensive outlets with the USB ports kind of built in to that outlet space. Nice big storage up here. And then open this up. It comes with this key block system. We'll talk about that outside. It's pretty exciting what they do with this. You have a tire pressure monitoring system standard already, and then you can see controls here for your AC with that remote. Then underneath here, you have a little bit more storage. Right here, this is basically just to make it look nice and cover up that area. And then you have your controls here for everything on the fifth wheel RV. Dimmer switch for your light controls and your vent fan controls as well. Going up this way, you have your steps here. It does have nice storage space under steps. I also just realized I missed something in the island that I wanted to show you because it is hidden. Oh, no, it's not hidden. Oh, is it on here? I thought I saw it somewhere. There it is. Okay, it's on this side. I don't know why I thought it was on the other side. You have your pet dishes right here as well that you can push up out of the way. So that is pretty neat. Even just little thoughtful things too, like you have toe space down underneath here. Everything just feels very well thought out by Brinkley. And a lot of that is because the people that make Brinkleys and design these things actually go out and camp in them. So they really think about everything. Going up into the bathroom. Pretty standard bathroom size, but very, very nice look in here. Love that they're giving you a molded fiberglass one-piece shower in here, even though this is a mid-size fifth wheel. Lots of mid-size fifth wheels will come with a plastic two-piece shower in a lot of instances. You have your storage space in here. Plenty ample for all your bathroom necessities. 3 hooks along this back wall. And again, just the decorative touch with like no flaws in it, no cosmetic errors is pretty impressive. really impressive for RV standards. I mean, when you compare it to other stuff in the RV world, it's pretty dang impressive. You have your door right here that slides out like so. And then you have a porcelain foot flush toilet. Going into the shower, you have a really nice shower tower system with the wand up here. 2 spots here to put your soaps, and then you have a little bit of additional corner storage space. You have your LED light strip in here, and they actually got rid of the vent light, or the skylight here, to have more of a closed off space that still elevates your ceiling height, but should help mitigate risks with like leaking and stuff like that through that vulnerable point. Okay, in here, ceiling height is fantastic. I'm about 6'3" with my boots on right now, and you can see it's about 6'5" to the shortest point. And then you could be, gosh, like 6'6", 6'7", and still fit in here. And at 6'3", I actually don't really have to duck to get under the shower head. So I love that. That is really, really nice. Coming back out this way, stainless steel sink here in the bathroom. So you can see that there. And then your medicine cabinet, spot to hang towels, and storage spaces down underneath here. Nice shelved out storage with a little extra little shelf right there, and then 3 drawers that will pull out. Then as we go back into the bedroom, east to west facing, king size bed here in the bedroom. I believe this is a 12-inch thick bamboo mattress. It's a really nice mattress that you get in here. You might actually not have to upgrade your mattress. Great additional storage here. You have USB ports next to the bed. See your curtain on the window, shelf up there. Lights on both sides, USB ports in the corners with the USB Type-C connection. Lift up the storage underneath here. I mean, even underneath here, like the base of the bed is cut so nicely and looks so good underneath there. Even like the vents down underneath here look good. Your outlet position, you have 2 outlets down there. The finishing off in the corners. Your motion activated sensor there for the light, your heat vent in the floor there, one of the only spots you'll see that. LED lighting up underneath the bed here so you can see the floor. I mean, they really think of so many different things to really make this a nice fifth wheel RV. You have your AC here in the bedroom, so second AC in here. You can see it is ducted through these areas here, whereas the AC in the living room is just going to be a drop down AC that pushes air out with tremendous force. It actually cools down the RV very, very fast. You have a TV already installed in the bedroom. Again, a more premium fifth wheel RV feature. And then you have pull out additional hidden storage underneath this dresser space there. And then a bunch of drawers here for your storage space. So 3 there, 4 more down below here. And then magnet latches to hold those shut. You also have a magnet to catch the door right here as it opens up. So love that. That's a nice touch there. Prevents it from dinging into the wall. Got some hooks back here too. You can hang some things back in this space. Love that. And then all of your rooms have dimmer switches on them as well. A lot of times I overlook this and forget to talk about it. But I think it's because a lot of RVs have this now. But you have these dimmer switches so you can dim the lights in these rooms. Washer and dryer connections will be in this closet space here. If you don't want the washer dryer, you have all this additional storage space, or washer and dryer would take up all that room. Shelving all along here, and then you have your closet space up front. Or your cordless vacuum if you want to plug one in there and hang one up. You have some shelving, and love the LED light rod here in the closet. Finally, with your closet closed, that is what it looks like. So love that look. Kind of gives it like a New York City vibe, in my opinion. And then that's pretty much everything on the inside. So you see a lot of really, really great quality improvements on the inside when it comes to looking at the cosmetics and finishes of things in here. It's just really, really top-notch quality to the build and materials. As we go outside, there's a few things Brinkley does outside as well that are definitely exceptional. And then there are some things too where we can talk about, like, now that we get to this portion, you know, there are some other fifth wheel RVs out there that you can get that will be a lot less expensive than what this Brinkley is. Or, you know, that'll be around the same size and a lot less expensive. You'll lose a lot of things. You can also find stuff that is bigger than this around the same price range where you may lose some things quality-wise. But there's good options out there as well. So I'm going to try to touch through all these things. But first of all, let's start up out front. Really great looking front cap from Brinkley. We mentioned how this is a mid-size fifth wheel RV, so it does kind of have the rounded off edge into the front cap, but looks great. They did these diffusers over the light beams. A lot of brands have since copied that because it just looks so dang good. In 2025, you're getting this Kurt Helix pin box. This is a really nice pin box here. This is going to absorb a lot of this shock right here as you go up and down the road. So as you brake and accelerate, it will absorb a lot of that. So that's a really nice thing they're doing there. They also finish off everything down underneath here. Have seen some other brands that do not have anything here. It's literally just like open into this underneath portion of your front cap. So like that they finished that off nicely. Down underneath here, good storage space through here, really clean look to everything. Your hydraulic fluid there, and then you're going to have a 60 amp solar charge controller with 370 watts of solar up on the roof. Docking light switches right there. You have your hydraulic auto leveling system. Lots of ground clearance since it does not have the drop frame up front here. 2 awnings on the outside, LED light bars underneath the awnings. Again, there's some like more premium things out there you can get. So like going back to the DRV mobile suites we talked about, like they had slide toppers already installed on top of the slide outs, which this doesn't have. Some other brands may be doing that standard as well. You could always get those installed at the dealership level here. It just costs more. Then you had like the DRV mobile suites had awning protection on top of the awning. So they had these metal sleeves that go over the awnings to keep them protected when they're in the closed position. Little things like that. But most brands, this is pretty standard what you're seeing out here. You have this key block system. This is really cool. So you can mount those key blocks that we saw inside. Right here, you can like connect lights to these, trash cans to these. I'm not sure what other accessories they have, but my favorite one is you could put a basketball hoop, like a pro mini hoop. So a real good sturdy little mini basketball hoop on your fifth wheel RV for the kids to play with. I would have been all over that as a kid if I saw that as an option. So I think that's pretty dang cool. Passenger storage compartment, you have your outdoor shower connections here. Like how just well finished out this is. Again, just talking about the finishes and construction, it just looks great. It doesn't look sloppy. Outlets here, even the more premium outlet here in the passenger storage compartment, very impressive. Pretty big size storage compartment considering there's no drop frame. Great looking aluminum construction with welds on both sides of all your frame connections. You have your battery disconnect switches here, plus your solar disconnect switch. Very easy to locate location. And then you do have access to different components back through here. Oh my gosh, they even added a light in there. Like that is one thing I love about Brinkley is they're not shy to give you access to this stuff that maybe some other brands kind of almost appear as though they're trying to keep this stuff hidden. But you can see your plumbing through there, some of your heat ducting. They do take, although their heat ducting is ran through these bendy, flexible pieces, they do have this additional layer on the heat ducting that's almost like a thing of duct tape essentially that allows it to be a lot more strong and rigid. So love that. Love the quick, easy access into this portion underneath here. No water manifold system in here like you see in some of the more expensive fifth wheel RVs, but that's kind of what you're getting under there. Going to your steps, pretty interesting because these steps, they do something cool that if you don't know about this, it's pretty neat. So let's get this liquefied off of here. And these flip over so you can actually have all of your dust and debris kind of fall off the steps before you lift it up into your door. Now, what this does not have is any strut assist on here. So it is not a strut assisted step. So you do actually have to lift that whole weight by yourself. If it was strut assisted, I could lift this up into that door one hand, no problem. Without the strut assist, it's kind of a two-hand job. On your screen door here, they gave you everything you could possibly ask for. So your screen defender, you have this bar right here, the screen assist that allows you to touch that at any point to detach that. And then the reason this closes by itself is because it has a Lippert screenshot. So these are 3 different Lippert products on the screen door that you can purchase on any fifth wheel RV, but most times you have to purchase them additionally. They don't come already installed. You also have the shade here on your window here for privacy, which is another nice feature. And you have a magnet latch here to catch the door so it doesn't fly open on you if you don't want it to. And it is a bit of a friction hinge door so it doesn't just like slam shut on you as well. And they add little touches like this little rubber bead right there to make sure that doesn't bang against the wall. So many little things that Brinkley does that it's like any RV brand could do this. Why don't they? And Brinkley charges the price that they do because of a lot of the things like that, where it's just added quality, added little steps and measures to give you a better experience. But other brands don't do it, so Brinkley charges a lot more for those things. And granted, I don't think Brinkley's price is unjustified at all. You can let me know what you think, but a lot of little things they add on here that definitely make the price go up. The RV lock touchpad entry here that comes standard, love that. But again, more expensive pieces of equipment that aren't typically standard on fifth wheel RVs. But I could see how someone would be willing to just pay more money to have all those things up front and not have to worry about, purchasing them all additionally. So we come underneath here. Another big thing that I noticed is like a lot of RV brands, when you come back behind here, you can see all the different screws just sticking out in this point. Now with Brinkley, they do these rivets right here that are definitely a lot better construction. They look a lot better. And most brands just have screws sticking out here that they don't even cut or anything. They just leave them sticking out, and they're just all over the place under here. Everywhere you see a rivet, most RV brands typically just have screws sticking out that, stick out like that far, and it's not real appealing. So they fixed that here on Brinkley as well. Brinkley, one of the only brands kind of cleaning that up. You have Cooper H-rated tires, which is a super beefy tire for this size fifth wheel RV. I don't know if there's any other mid-size fifth wheel RVs coming with a Cooper H-rated tire. So definitely more than you need, but I think a lot of people want that. You have the custom Brinkley rim, and then you have road armor suspension on here. There's a few other mid-size fifth wheel RV brands that will also use the road armor suspension, so nothing too crazy with that, but it is an upgraded, more premium suspension system. And then you have your rack and pinion style slide mechanism here underneath. So you come along this way. Now keep in mind some construction aspects on Brinkley that we talked about inside we'll bring up again. It's just a 2-inch thick sidewall, the same as everybody else. They use composite panels on the interior of the sidewall like most other RV brands do at this point. Most brands have gone away from Luan in this price range at this point. But you're not getting anything, like you're not getting a different type of window. Like these aren't dual pane windows. You're not getting a different thickness to the sidewall. It's the same thickness as everybody else. You're not really getting a different sidewall construction. It's the same as most other brands out there. So you're not really seeing differences in those aspects. Those are really expensive changes to make. That's why something like a DRV Mobile Suites costs almost $100,000 more than something like this, because those are really, really costly changes to make. Even same thing with like the frame underneath here. The frame on this, that looks like that's about a 10-inch frame on here. And then I'm sure their Model Gs, their heavier ones, have a 12-inch frame. And then you go to something like a DRV Mobile Suites, and then you're looking at a 15-inch triple stacked frame. So there's just differences in what you're getting. But this, everything as far as, when I look at Brinkley, I see a lot of cosmetic and aesthetic upgrades that really mean something. They're really, really valuable. What I feel that sometimes people misconstrue is that there's like a big jump in quality as far as like construction performance. And that I don't think you see so much with Brinkley. Like they're not doing revolutionary changes into like the aspects that have to do with, climate control and different things like that. The roof construction, like it's all very similar to standard practices in the RV world. The stuff that does, or the brands that do things pretty drastically different in those regards, also costs a lot more money, but sometimes they can't put the same amount of money into the interior cosmetic changes that Brinkley has done. Because if you basically took the best of everything and you made like a Brinkley RV, and let's stack a Brinkley RV on top of a DRV Mobile Suites and put those two brands together, you're looking at probably a $250,000 fifth wheel RV. And there's a reason why brands like that just don't really exist, because there's not really a provable market out there for people that are willing to spend that much on something like that. So I don't know. You let me know what your thoughts are on that. That's something I'd be curious to know, is if people actually feel like if the value was there, would you buy a $200,000 plus fifth wheel RV, or is there just no world where, enough can be packed into an RV for that price to be justified? Down underneath here, love what they did with this. They're the only brand I'm seeing where they have this space underneath the sofa here that they basically carved out and utilized storage out of it. Also put outlets back here. So a lot of usable space that you can fit some stuff back in this area for. Love that. You also have the 3,000-pound hitch along the back. And then those are slam latch doors. Love that it comes with a ladder installed to get up onto the roof. I prefer that very much so to just having like the bracket to attach the retractable ladder that you have to purchase separately. So glad it comes with a ladder, backup camera already installed. Come up on the roof here. This is, again, this thing just got here, so you are seeing a really fresh roof. Seals up here all look good. According to Brinkley, this is supposed to be a maintenance-free roof where you're not supposed to have to come up here and replace these seals ever. I would still regularly check these. I would check these at least 2 times a year. All these spots where these seals are at, I mean, it's your job as an RV owner to make sure that those aren't cracking or breaking or anything. That's where you're most susceptible to water moisture coming in. And yeah, basically it's your job to check those. And if you don't, and you have a water leak because those failed, that's on you. It's not on the manufacturer. It's not on the dealership. It's not covered by warranty. If those seals crack or wear out over time and you don't reseal them, that is on you. It's time will tell if these are truly like maintenance-free roofs from Brinkley, but that's what they claim. Fully walkable roof, obviously. You also have a walkable slide out, and then this is just basically like a TPO roof up here. Pretty standard practice from the RV industry. It's basically like a, you know, a little bit more rigid than rubber type of material that is going to have the flex it needs, where if it ever needed to like have a piece replaced out of it or repaired or anything, it's stretchy and flexible, but also rigid enough where like branches aren't just going to rip through it, hopefully. So again, pretty standard practice on the roof construction. I just lost my mic. My mic just fell off. I can hold it though. Sorry about that if it was loud. But pretty standard construction practice up there on the roof as well. 370 watts of solar. Love that. Come along this way. Tankless on-demand water heater. You have your dump valves here all in this one spot. A couple other things to note under here. There are LED lights up underneath the frame. So love that. That is actually really practical because a lot of people store a lot of stuff up underneath their fifth wheel RV, and that will allow you to see it more easily. They put a clear cap here so you can see some of the winterization fluid in there. It lets you know actually what you're about to open this up to if something actually accidentally was left open. Spot to store your sewer hose. Fully enclosed underbelly. All your water tanks and water lines sit above the enclosed underbelly. Keeping your furnace on will help prevent those water lines from freezing, and there are 12-volt heat pads on the water tanks. Water connections up underneath here. And this is another thing that Brinkley does that's really nice is they give you brass fittings on the water lines. This is something I still have seen, even brands that are much higher priced like a DRV Mobile Suites, still doing plastic connections, and Brinkley the only brand I've seen doing brass connections, so that's very cool. You have electric dump valves here, but they do have like a manual override as well. Love that you don't have to duck under anything to get into that water connection point. And then you have your pass-through storage compartment through here with your auto leveling controls there. 2 30-pound propane bottles. There's no silicone seams anywhere. I think we talked about this already, hopefully, but if I didn't, they got rid of silicone on the outside completely. Love that because silicone over time, it collects dust very easily. It yellows out with UV exposure, and you just don't have any of that here. I think they use a product called like butyl tape or something like that down underneath here to still create kind of that, you know, connection and water resistance and things like that. But they got rid of silicone everywhere on all the seams here, which is going to just make it look a whole lot better for a heck of a lot longer than what silicone can offer. In a perfect world, I would love to just have like, you know, I think like a Keystone Montana would be such a good comparison with a Brinkley Model Z, even though one's a full-size fifth wheel and this one's kind of more of a mid-size fifth wheel. If I had those side by side in a perfect world, it'd be really cool to do a comparison, but hopefully you got some good information here where, you know, I think the point of this video is that the Brinkley Model Z really did make a ton of major improvements to the RV world in general. I think it's a great RV for the price that you're getting. I think if you're buying a Brinkley to just get a better performance from the overall construction as far as like weather control and climate control and stuff like that, you may not have your expectations blown away because it's kind of the same construction as other fifth wheel RVs when it comes to things like your windows, your wall thickness, your roof materials, your framing, your underbelly, like all that stuff is all pretty standard practice. It might be executed better on the Brinkley and cleaner, but they're all the same practices. So you do get better performance in the Brinkley when it comes to things like the aesthetic, just the cleanness of how it was put together. I think even just the dependability that you have like a peace of mind driving off the lot. I don't want to put any false expectations in your head that you think you're not going to have any problems with the Brinkley RV, because any RV can certainly have problems and likely will have problems. But I think I would just have a little bit more peace of mind with a Brinkley, honestly. And yeah, I think even though it's a mid-size fifth wheel RV, I don't think that's a problem in this price range. I think it's perfectly justified to have this be a $90,000 fifth wheel RV, even though you can get something bigger for $90,000 that definitely won't have the same level of quality finishes throughout. So I don't know, I think Brinkley did a really good job. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And again, if you're looking for your next RV, there's a link down below in the comments and description to help you find a location closest to you, as Blue Compass has over 100 different stores in 33 different states to help you get started. And that's all I got for y'all. Until next time, live firmly unbound.